chapalawellness.com.
Well, this afternoon we're going to talk about a love language. Now, I'm not talking about Gary Chapman and his 5 love languages. We're talking about the language of love that speaks deeply into the heart, how we can manage it, what we can do to contribute to each other and ourselves, and what it means long term. All right? So, sir. What? Bigger voice? Oh, all right. All right. So, first of all, I want to thank Chris Smith. I want to thank the Garden of Dreams and everybody who made this possible, everybody that's set up, everybody in the background who's doing what they're doing so well. And we appreciate that very much. We appreciate everybody who's here, all of the practitioners, and you guys. Give yourselves a hand for being here. You know what? It speaks to your character that you are here because you're here to learn something. You're here to engage with people. You're here to expand your wisdom and your knowledge. And that speaks directly to your character. And that's the very thing we're going to talk about tonight. We don't need to talk a great deal about the power of language because I'm sure all of you know the magnificent power of language. I mean, how many of us remember when we were kids when we used to say, "Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me"? Was there ever a bigger lie told than that? I mean, wouldn't you rather have a broken arm than a broken heart? Yeah, you've probably, if you've ever said that to anyone, you probably said it on the heels of a horrible conversation that you were having with somebody who was insulting you, being rude to you, and it hurt. And you probably said it through tears, or at least choking back tears. So it's things like that that we introduce into our language and our vocabulary that we really have to consider and to listen to so that we change our minds and change our thinking. There was another phrase that the doctors used when I was growing up that was the most crippling phrase of our time at that time. And that phrase was from a doctor to the parents who said, "Your child is just a little slow." Well, now, how does that set the parents up? They're going to anticipate that their child is going to be slow all his life or her life. And they're going to say, "Honey, don't worry. You don't have to keep up with the kids. Just do the best you can. You know we love you anyway." So their expectation that they verbally announce to that child designs that child's life. How is he going to go out into the world and produce and be a magnificent contributor if all of his life he's been told he's slow? Well, about 100 years prior to that, there was another young boy who was sent home from his school, a little country schoolhouse, with a note. He took that note to his mother. It was sealed, of course. She opened it up, and it said, "It's been determined that your child is so slow that he is uneducatable. And we're sorry to tell you that he is not welcome in school any longer. You just do the best you can at home." She threw the note in the fire, went to her son and said, "Honey, school has determined that you are so smart that there's nobody there who can come up to the level of your ability to learn." She homeschooled him, taught him everything she knew, put him out into the world. That young man Thomas Alva Edison. What we say, everything we say, is deeply meaningful to the recipient of whatever that is. There is a vibration, a harmony, a frequency to every single word we say. And it sticks forever. Now, that might sound like a bold statement, but let's talk about the Akashic record. All right? Most of you are familiar with the Akashic record, right? For those who are not, and for those who are, the Akashic record, and this has been studied and known by philosophers for thousands of years, but it is where every thought, idea, concept, and conversation is stored. Now, some of you are digging in your heels going, oh, that's not possible. How is that possible? Well, let me put it down to some place where you do understand something. You know that when your telephone, your iPad, or your computer runs out of memory, where does the rest of that information go? What do we call it? The cloud. Okay? It goes into the cloud. And it's there. And for a few bucks and a password, you can retrieve that information back, and somehow miraculously you've got more memory. So we can relate to that, but the Akashic has much better news. Every single thing, every conversation that's ever been spoken by anyone in the history of the world is stored there, and we have access to it for free. It comes in the form of déjà vu, downloads, intuition, a gut feel. We hear the Akashic speaking to us. And we've contributed to it since the beginning of time. Now, what is the closest cousin to the Akashic record? Somebody here knows, I'm sure. Sir? Quantum field. Thank you very much. What's your name, sir? Scotty. Pleasure, Scotty. Yeah, the quantum field, or quantum physics as it's referred to. And now you're going, oh, Jeff, you just lost me. We're going to talk about physics? Oh, man. I was not particularly good in physics. I was great at geometry. Couldn't get through algebra. Physics? Nah, forget it. How many believe that they have a pretty shallow understanding of physics? Don't be embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed. Okay. How about you, Scotty?
No, I'm a nerd.
You're a nerd. All right. Let me pick on somebody else. You, sir, what's your name? Toby. Toby, don't be embarrassed. I mean, all of us have, we have limitations, right? Do you feel like you have a pretty shallow understanding of physics? Okay. Do I have permission to prove you wrong? Okay. Without altering this piece of paper, can I throw this to you from here? Here, to it. Oh, let me try it again. Oh, no, it's not going to happen, is it? How about now? Can I throw this paper to you now? Yeah, all right, here we go. Now, right now, you're going to catch it. Give me a hand. I can throw it back. Now, let me tell you what just happened. How brilliant is this man? Scotty, yeah? Toby. How brilliant is he? Innately, intuitively, he calculated that open piece of paper could not get to him because there's too much surface tension, too much resistance. Gravity is going to pull it down. He cannot get any inertia going. But as soon as I rolled it up, he calculated this in his mind, the condensation of it, how little it was going to be deterred. Not only that, when it came out of my hand, he determined about how much energy it took, the flight that it took, how much inertia was going to be diminished. Therefore, he calculated the decreasing arc so that he could get his hand in the way of it within 1.5 inches of its destination. Now, you're a nerd. How long would it take you to do the math on that?
That depends.
Well, an hour, 2 hours, a day, less on computers.
Yeah, maybe.
How much? 10 minutes?
Yeah, maybe.
All right, 10 minutes. How long did it take him to do it?
Maybe less. Yeah.
Flash of an eye. He didn't even have to think about it, did he? He didn't do one bit of math. We are brilliant people. We are absolutely, innately, intuitively brilliant. We got a physicist here who didn't know it. Give him a hand. So, with that knowledge, that piece of business just went into the Akashic and into his heart, didn't it? From now on, he's going to say to himself, I'll bet you can step off a curb without shattering your ankle too, can't you? Yeah. Right.
But the cane helps too.
The cane is good. See, you got a handle on physics right there. And I'll bet you can even ride a bicycle.
Yeah, maybe.
So you understand gyroscopic precession, how to manage it and deal with it to get you to school. Yeah, exactly. He didn't even know he was messing with gyroscopic precession. Brilliant. We are brilliant beyond our own conception. And we are powerful beyond that which we give ourselves credit. Now let's talk about what we put into the Akashic. All that stuff that the doctors put into the Akashic field about those children who became slow and who were crippled mentally, emotionally, as opposed to Thomas Edison's mom, who instilled in him that good, positive, healthy attitude. And we do that every single day of our lives when we speak to anyone about anything. Are we whining and gossiping and bitching about the ways of the world and each other? Because if we are, that's going into the Akashic and into the hearts of the people we just talked to. On the other hand, do we look for the beauty, what is uplifting? Do we look for the stature, the carriage, the love, just the gorgeousness of all of us, and look into each other and find that and talk about it?
Yes.
That's going into the Akashic and into the hearts of the people you're talking to. Now let's move on to the quantum. Quantum physics, once again, science takes forever to catch up to philosophy, which we've known for, I don't know, hundreds, at least thousands of years, that the Akashic has now proven that we are all connected vibrationally, harmonically, through frequency. We are all connected. Einstein called it spooky happenings at a distance. Yeah. You know the time when you called your buddy up and he said, I was just thinking about you too. Well, we're connected. When I was in high school, I did something extremely stupid one time. And 2 o'clock in the morning, I was just hammered, and I took my car out and I rolled my dune buggy. And woke myself up, and I went to the hospital. 2:30 in the morning, my grandmother, I'm in California doing this, 2:30 in the morning, my grandmother calls my dad, says, what's wrong with Jeffrey? The quantum field, physics, mechanics connects us all. And when we get in touch with that, and the Akashic, we can draw information from the Akashic anytime we want, and when we do, we share it with the world. And when we contribute to the Akashic, we have just shared it with the world. And the beauty of it is that it is forever and free. We get downloads, we get intuitions, we get epiphanies constantly. And most of that, it comes from the Akashic. All right? It's a beautiful thing. And all the people who've gone before us have contributed to that, and we're contributing to it right now, which brings up the next part of my little piece of business here, which is the fact that, and I probably don't need to tell you, I think everybody here is wise enough to realize that we are right on the threshold of another great reset. Okay? Now, I'm not talking about generational, I'm talking about eternity. Okay? Our contribution to the Akashic is our legacy. That is our legacy. Because everything that we install there makes up the architecture, the groundwork, the foundation, and the building blocks for our future. Because that's the thing that our kids and grandkids and who knows how many generations, that's where they're going to draw their information. All right? And they're going to draw it from one another who are speaking into their hearts. And with that combination, we're going to see the architecture of the Great Reset, aren't we? We pretty much have to agree on that. I don't think there's any question about it. So, no pressure. Every single thing you do and say contributes to the quality and the outcome and the construction of our eternity and the eternity of our kids. Now, there is something to leave behind, isn't it? And I'm getting proud of it. Because for myself, I'm going to put all the goodness I can out there. And I'm going to install that. And that's going to be my testimony, my gift, my contribution. And it is more than multi-generational. And it is more important than multi-generational. So when we speak about the lovely things that we see in each other, we have to find that within ourselves, because if we don't have it, we can't see it. But an interesting thing happens as we peek into the eyes and the hearts and the souls of someone else, searching diligently for something to honor and respect and pattern ourselves after and pass on to other people about their loveliness. We build that up in ourselves as well. And it becomes an addiction. We love it. We love to feel good. We love to feel good about ourselves. We fall in love with ourselves again. We fall in love with the world again. And we perpetrate that with all of this beautiful conversation. Now, once in a while, we're human. Okay, you can't be all, kumbaya all the darn time, right? Just the other day, I was at a little home party, and I don't know, some conversation came up, and I spit this thing out that was negative, and I went, oh, ouch, Jeff, and it could have been mistaken as pretty scathing. So I took a lesson from our canine friends, and I went, cover that up with a whole bunch of positive and hope that the sun and some time dries it out before somebody steps in it, takes it home, and contaminates the whole house. We're going to do it. We're human. But let's do everything that we possibly can to contribute those building blocks into that Akashic, that magnificence of who we are. And build that up so that our future generations have something to stand on. They have something to share of value, real, true value. All I have to say, thank you very much. And remember, just do that once in a while.